Did Modi's absence signal strategic caution, or is India quietly letting China lead the global South pushback against Trump's tariffs?
Good evening. We can read it in two ways: either a strategic restraint or missed opportunity. Avoiding Modi tried to avoid a China shadow and refused to play a double second fiddle to China. Also, the second thing, the relationship which India has with the West and G7 and the Quad there. He went to reaffirm to the West that, he's also is not like 100% committed to the Brexit. Or we could see that it could be there has some domestic priorities in China. But in my opinion, I think the absence of Modi, it looks like India is choosing to play a double game or a dual game. India is try to use the Brexit. Therefore, she can show that she is leading the global West, and in the same time, she can tell the West that we are not competing with you, but we can have some economic or trade cooperation and not a trade war. This is really, in my opinion, the reading of Modi, why he did not attend. On the other hand, Modi had already had a big conference in China with Mr. Putin, also the leader of North Korea and China. This is a very important, really, conference, and we have to read it and we have to take it into account. This part here, which is formulated in order to reduce American dominance on the world there. And I believe the BRICS is something important, and it's become a reality today. Now, joining the BRICS, two very important countries, Saudi Arabia and UAE. Then, by joining the BRICS, they added power, they added credibility, they added a huge influence to the BRICS there. That is my reading in the BRICS, and why the BRICS is going to become a reality and becomes a big power for dollarization there.
Right, let me here ask you about what you just said here. Yes, indeed, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have already joined the BRICS, but they are still spared from Trump's harshest tariffs. So is BRICS Plus becoming a shield for Gulf wealth or a magnet for the redirection of Western capitals?
You have said that very important, really, questions. I believe Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the United Arab Emirates has faced a very big dilemma when Mr. Trump has forced them to part with 5.1 trillion from their sovereign fund into United States. Today, United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, they have a huge, big sovereign fund, really goes up in trillions. There is IDEA, Mubadala, and BIF there, those are a huge one. Now, they find it after the experience with Trump and parted with this huge, big amount of money, that they have to protect their sovereign fund. The only way to protect their sovereign fund by joining BRICS and becoming an active member on the BRICS there. And already we've seen in the market that Saudi Arabia and United Emirates and Qatar also, they start to move in some of their sovereign fund into the Asian equity, into some infrastructure in Africa, and also away from the Western Europe. And also by doing that, this BRICS has become a big shield and a wonderful opportunity for the Gulf area to protect their wealth. Why do we say that to protect the wealth? They are today Trump, he can go further than what anybody expects. Mm-hmm. Cannot protect law, he cannot protect democracy, he cannot protect a human right. Therefore, it could be a chance here that Trump would try to freeze the assets of those Gulf area. Therefore, by moving some of those assets to Asia and India and the Africa, this here will protect them and give them a big power here. That is the reading, and I'm absolutely delighted that Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, and they have joined the BRICS.
But we're also speaking about the redirection of capitals, of the Western capitals. Since you spoke about Trump's harsh tariffs there, we're speaking about the redirection of the Western capitals to the Middle East and to the Gulf area, and who are already or have become members of the BRICS. How far do you see that?
Yes, as we see, as I see, America has used dollars, and America has used the IMF, and America has used the World Bank in order to dominate their policy on those countries, and specifically in the Middle East. And Egypt is suffering from those really IMF and the huge loan which is they are giving and forcing Egypt in an economic dilemma. That's why we need to get rid of that.
No, I'm speaking here. What I meant here, sir, is not about Egypt and the economic status. Egypt is part of the BRICS. Egypt is part of the BRICS, and would benefit also from the redirection of the Western countries or the capitals of the Western countries to the whole area, the Middle East area. Part of it is the Gulf area. So is the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia's being members of this bloc would encourage the attraction of the Western capitals to the area, so that all economies would benefit, and it would be a win-win situation. This is exactly what I meant. So your comment.
To complete really my statement on that, I was quoting an example how difficult the current situation and why the BRICS is becoming a really solution for countries like us, and also a solution politically and investment, not just investment, not just economically. It's really politically there here. And Saudi Arabia today and United Emirates to try to protect their assets, to try to protect their investment, and to try to protect their current political situation there. And Saudi Arabia and United Emirates, and by joining the BRICS with Russia, today here they have a huge percentage of the crude oil energy, and also they have a huge from the gas there. Added to that, Africa today has a huge mineral also there. Added to that, the Latin American country, all right, which is like Argentina and Brazil, they are having a huge agriculture there. Therefore, the BRICS country could be really completed if they managed to add, their new institution can able to deal with the West and be able to compete with the institutional of the West today. And also they're going to add a huge technology to their system there. Therefore, today we're going to see a new power. This power could be coming full, maybe in 3-4 years, it becoming a huge, big existing power there. And also will create today a big competitive in the movement of fund And by creating the development bank today, the BRICS developed the development bank and already start lending in the local currency at a lower rate and a much better percentage there. That will increase the development and the increase, economically of those countries.
There is only one issue that we have to discuss, to really discuss here, sir. Now, Lola during this meeting spoke about Forever Tropical Forest Fund, right? But we're speaking here about countries who are not going green. So, and we're speaking about different countries who are not going green, even though that they are big economies. So from your point of view, can BRICS set a green agenda?
Actually, one of the big agenda of the summit today, is the climate condition there. And I believe they will try to show the world that they are looking after the climate, and they will do their effort to come in and enforce the green condition there in their countries and using there. But having said that, to move from an industrial country into the try to apply the climate, it's a very economically costly, and it will cost quite a hell of a money. And to move that condition there, you require technology and you require lots of money. The priority here, those countries today, they look at priority, Europe, and if we compare it with the West here, the West is starting to do that. Until today, the developed West has not yet developed, what's so clean, 100% green, yet, because it's still expensive. America itself does not, Mr. Trump does not believe in the climate issue or the climate theory here. Yes. Therefore, all right, economically, I believe the climate, it is something very hypothetical here. And really, it's need to have a look at that and look at the priority, what the other country needed there. And if we talk about the climate, we have to stop the war elsewhere. Else we cannot supply weapons and material and money to other country, hit another countries. That is exactly part of that. And also the most of the media today, especially the Western media, all right, they are not in favor of the BRICS because politically they are pushed on that. They are pushed to try to bring down the BRICS. But I believe they will not succeed. The BRICS is something today, something very important.